Hello, everyone, and welcome to a retrospective episode. It's been a while, and we're back starting the new year with a retrospective. This airs on March 14th.
AKA Pi Day, everyone. And we thought, what dumb thing could we do for Pi Day? We could review the critically acclaimed film Pi, the one with the symbol. And we thought...
Or we talk about the song American Pie.
That's true. But then we thought, you know what? We got the Criterion Connection. We got a channel for that kind of bullshit. Let's talk about just like filthy, dirty, sleazy crap.
Yes. So we're going to talk about the 1999 boner comedy, American Pie.
Not just a boner comedy. If you think about it, it was the boner comedy. Like, this was the one that started that craze in the early 2000s of
Van Wilder.
Road Trip.
I guess Stealing Harvard, Say It Isn't So.
There you go.
Harold and Kumar.
Go to White
because
Castle.
John Chow is also in this film.
And not only that, but it inadvertently typecasted some of the actors in this.
Yes.
Namely Jason Biggs, who it seemed like every movie he did after this, well, maybe the movie wasn't like it, the trailers were. A great example, I was on Reddit the other day, and someone was talking about, movies whose trailers were vastly different than the movie that you actually got. And they had listed Loser as being...
Oh, Loser. And that's a movie.
And here's the thing. My wife and I, we just watched that recently. I still enjoy it. I didn't see a lot of trailers for it. I remember, a commercial that played often, but it didn't feel like it was going to be, another American Pie type movie.
I was not a fan of the date rape subplot. That was odd.
No, but...
And also
it was handled surprisingly well for a movie
like this movie.
Like that.
Like this movie.
Yes.
From 1999. When you think of, I'll say it, this ages much better than movies like Porky's, Revenge of the Nerds.
Way better than anticipated.
Yes.
I went into this thinking oh my god. Because I remember all the talk, they're like, this is the one. This is the sleaziest one. All of the other teen sex comedies, boner comedies, whatever you want to call them, they pale in comparison, no pun intended, to the pale ale in the movie.
This is tame.
I was surprised at how tame it was.
Now, something...
Not that it's completely tame, but...
A disclosure is, Scott, you just watched the original.
Yes.
You've seen the main ones.
Yes.
Okay.
I watched all 4 of the original run.
The
Gin saga.
The prep for this I watched through Wet to Wedding. I've seen Reunion.
You skipped Reunion for some odd reason.
I think American Pied out because I also watched Bandcamp, Naked Mile, Girls Rules. I did not see Book of Love or Beta House. And
now, see, I thought you said you did watch Book of Love.
No, I did not.
Okay. Well, you saved yourself.
I just know Alfalfa from Little Rascals is in it. Bug Hall. But the spin-offs are awful. They're not funny. They're not original. They're just not good. Girls Rules was just a freaking rom-com. They just put a Stifler in there. That's all they did. But Naked Mile was bad because it starts off with the guy ejaculates. I want this to be somewhat kind of not as raunchy.
He gratifies himself
on his grandmother and
into his grandmother's face.
Yeah, and then she dies. That's the beginning of Naked Mile, and it's bad. Anyway, so it has a lot of actors that kind of... The only person that really blew out of this is Sean William Scott, Natasha Lyonne. She's in I watched this on Peacock, and that has the Poker Face show that
she has
on.
That she's got
Russian Doll.
That was I know how it was a Russian something. And Orange Is the New Black is what really brought her back.
Yes, everything.
And another American Pie alum was kind of brought back from that show, Jason Biggs.
Yes,
that got Jason Biggs back because he had a little bit of a run, but it was again movies similar or advertised similar to American Pie. Sean William Scott, I think, was the one that really sort of broke out.
Yes.
Broke the mold a little bit later on. Because then after this, he's got Dude, Where's My Car? He's got Starsky and Hutch.
There's a couple. There was Role Models.
I keep wanting to say Drillbit Taylor, but that was Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. And then you get stuff. He's also in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He plays
Goon.
cousin. Goon. Yeah, he got.
He was in Goon.
He got
Goon was. I think Goon was probably like one of his more like respectable roles, and I mean for what it is.
Yeah, everyone else, I think Mina Schwavi, whatever.
Mina Savari.
Savari, that's it. Why did I say Swavi?
I have no idea.
Yeah, Mina. She did some things here and there. Chris Klein, I feel like his career went downhill with Sadans and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair to say. I can't tell you what he was in after that.
Tara Reid is in.
Tara Reid,
she's in the Sharknadoes.
It's sad.
It's sad.
Tara Reid is sad because you can definitely tell the way her character is used in this compared to other people. You could definitely tell she was the one that at least all the women in this movie they thought was going to be a star, because the way they use her more respectably in a bigger role. Because you could say Natasha Lyonne is more respectfully used given the type of character she is, but she's not in it as much.
No.
So I felt like in that regard, I feel like Tara Reid was the one they were kind of setting up.
Also,
like, we're not going to make you do anything too crazy because you might be a star, kid.
Also, Jennifer Coolidge.
This is what started, I think, everyone's love affair with her.
Well, now she's like big on White Lotus, so good for her. So and everyone else just kind of like they're there. And
and this also launched Shannon Elizabeth.
Oh yeah,
made her the sex symbol of the early 2000s.
Yeah, and then of course we had
Thomas Ian
Rotten.
No. I can never remember his last name. Yes, the one who played Kevin.
Also, Casey Affleck is in it. And
no.
That didn't age well.
When we were watching it, Caitlin, my wife, she even said, like, "Is that Casey Affleck?" I just immediately went, "Oh no!" It's like the worst thing in this movie, in hindsight, was that Casey Affleck.
I forgot another person that really becomes huge. Travis Barker.
Oh yeah.
Because did you know that the Kardashian star Travis Barker has a band called Blink-182 who are also in this film?
By the way,
and also fun fact about the 90s. It's the late 90s, early 2000s when they had to have a monkey in the
they had to have a monkey. Because if we learned anything from Wes Craven, people love monkeys.
Yes, which was in James Outlaw Strike Back, who referenced Jason Biggs,
who was in that movie
as the pie effer.
Yeah,
and Shannon Elizabeth.
Well, yeah, because if you remember, he was playing a blunt man, aka Silent Bill,
Bob,
opposite James Vanderbeek, playing Chronic, aka Ray.
Did you read the script? There's a script.
But everyone remembers him from like Kid in King Arthur's Court, especially Rookie of the Year, one of my favorite movies, period. And I think this was like his first attempt to break out of that child star image, and I don't think it quite worked. Because
Eugene Levy.
Who
was already funny.
Yeah, well,
already successful.
Eugene Levy was kind of already a made man in comedy anyway, so it didn't.
I'm so glad Schitt's Creek happened because he did the spin-offs and they're sad.
But he's
the best part.
And I will say this about Eugene Levy in these movies, and I say this with no hyperbole. Eugene Levy as Jim's dad is probably my favorite parental figure in a movie as far as being a parent.
Yeah.
Because he is so loving, respectful, understanding. Like, he is the dad we all wish we had. I mean, in the very beginning of the movie, when he catches Jim gratifying himself.
Yeah.
He's very respectful. He does have that first, thing when he realizes what's going on. But, he's very calm. He under pressure.
Spanked my hairy ass. What was that?
And but he's also very respectful to Jim, and unlike his mother, who just like flips out.
Yeah.
But like even when you go into his conversations with Jim about life, and of course my favorite being the line about how sex should be done with a partner. Things by yourself. It may be fun, but it's not a game. You need a partner hitting the tennis ball back to you to make it a game. And I always thought that was just like an honestly perfect metaphor. Yeah. So with all the characters out of the way, the actors, because Finch didn't really do anything. I can't remember a thing.
So basically, the movie, I realized after watching the three is they all follow the same formula where it starts out with Jim doing something embarrassing. We mentioned it.
Right. An American Reunion might go against this trend. So if it does, let us know in the comments and tell Wade he should have watched American
It's
Reunion.
been since we saw it in the theater. That's the last time I watched it.
Same here.
It brought back a time where there was scrambled pornography.
Yes.
We all did it. We all did it in the 90s or early 2000s. We all Spice Channel, man. Anyway, also let's talk about the one of the things that doesn't age well. That wallpaper.
Oh, the plaid.
Whew.
Oh no,
Whew.
I've already decided when my wife and I move, one of our
Also-
rooms is definitely going to have the plaid.
Also,
wallpaper.
I think it's funny that like I don't know if this is on purpose, but I was thinking Naked Gun a lot. Where like above his bed is
The baseball?
is a baseball poster, and I'm thinking like, is that like a joke of like when he doesn't have to think about sex, he thinks about baseball?
I thought that too. When I was watching it, I was like, well, great. Now he doesn't have to think about baseball.
Yeah.
Which later on in the movie, he should have looked back at his poster.
Though there is one thing that doesn't age. Immediately after that scene, they cut to him and Chris Klein, Oz, where he's like, illegal channel. The only channel should be illegal, or there's all women channels. I was like, oh, that joke does not age well.
You mean Lifetime and that's it?
Yeah.
I want to know what these other channels were. If you remember what these other woman channels were in the 90s, let us know in the comments, because I only remember Lifetime, and Lifetime's not so bad.
The soundtrack bops of 90s.
Oh,
it
absolutely.
It bops. But there's a couple things that I was looking at the story, and it's very... the whole thing, they want to have a pact so they can have sex before the prom.
Right.
Simple plot.
Very
I
simple.
think a lot of movies copied.
Yeah, because they wanted that sweet, sweet American Pie money.
Yes. They have Oz is Suck Me Beautiful, because he's Nova, as in Casanova.
Right.
So basically it's like the oversensitive romantic.
Yeah, he's trying to be, the understanding
sensitive
guy, the sensitive guy.
Finch is being mysterious. He's using high school rumor and innuendo to kind of get a mystique about him.
And one of like the low key like subplots that you don't really think about until it's really brought up is where these rumors keep coming from.
Yes.
And then you find out how they've been spreading.
Yes. And also I feel IBS. I feel that one. I feel that, bro.
That wasn't IBS. That was.
I know, but like not wanting to like. Well, you have to like. Oh, I have to go. You have to plan out your bowel movements. Anyway.
I mean that's just a dude who's just scared to poop in public.
Okay, so Kevin is the worst character in this film. I'm just gonna say it. He is the worst character.
I think that's probably because unlike the other guys, he already had a girlfriend.
Yes.
So
and his dilemma was he can't say "I love you" to a beautiful blonde high school student because you're saying they're in high school. So does it really matter if you say "I love you"?
Yeah.
I don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably not gonna last.
Yeah. Plus, it's Tara Rita, 1999.
Yeah. So his method is he's gonna try stealing moves from his brother, Casey Affleck, which is like maybe you should say the L word. I don't know. I did make a note where they found the sex Bible, the book. It's underneath what I write. I wrote fluid dynamics, whatever that means.
I don't know, but if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Also in Jim, he just exists.
Yeah, well,
Jim just exists, and he does try the online dating and it doesn't work out. And it made me think, oh, the internet. Remember the internet?
Right. I was gonna say, I think with Kevin though is like because he was already like, if you think about it, he was already like 3/4 of the way there, whereas everyone else was single.
It's kind of funny.
So they had to work hard just to create the new image and then find somebody. He didn't have to do that.
It's kind of funny. He was in Rookie of the Year and he couldn't score.
Well, he did score once. He did bad.
That's what I'm
so
saying.
your joke works. Your joke works.
Like Kevin also like he's kind of a whiny boy, especially at the prom scene. He's a whiny boy.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better in the other films. I'll tell you, American Pie 2, he is insufferable.
It works in the first one because for two reasons. Number one, it's just his character and he's a teenager. Mm-hmm. But also, it kind of works because he's probably the most frustrated because he's like, at least they don't have girlfriends. They've got to struggle to get a woman. Well, I have a woman and I can't
had
get
a college girl.
Allegedly.
But also, so Kevin, I do like, spoiler, I do like how at the end, he doesn't get everything. Like, Vicky's just like, I'm done. Like, Vicky's just like, I think she has a realization that, like, after the sex happened, just like, there's nothing else to this relationship for her.
Well, and the fact that, they're going to separate colleges and two completely separate areas. In 1999, that was a death sentence for a relationship.
So Kevin was like all about the sex, but then he actually wants the relationship, and then Like it's just not there.
Right.
And everyone else is in a better place but Kevin.
Right.
And Kevin wanted the sex. He was the one that put the pressure on sex. I think that's I don't know if that was on purpose storytelling wise, but I like that little wrinkle there.
I think it was. I think it was to show at least like a level of maturity, because all he wanted was the sex going in, and through achieving it, he kind of grew up. Because a lot of times when they teach you about sex, like in school, or just someone's teaching you, like your parents are telling you about it, like it's one of those things where sex changes a relationship. Yes. It always does. You may even if you go into like, oh, there's no strings attached, and we can have like a friend with benefits relationship. Sex always changes a relationship in some way. Sometimes big, sometimes small. But once intercourse happens, that relationship is nowhere near the same as it was going in, and it will never be able to go back.
And also, it's very empowering for women. There's a lot of parts where it's empowering. Like Tara Reid's basically like, you know what, screw you, Kevin, pretty much. Like she was acting like an adult there.
Right. She realized that she didn't need Kevin. Yeah. She didn't really need a guy. And that guy anyway.
The chauvinistic people like Stifler they're treated like jokes in the end. Like he has the pale ale. He doesn't really succeed in a lot of things.
Well, no, he doesn't. He doesn't get laid.
No, he doesn't succeed at all. Like even in did the lacrosse game win? Like
we don't. That's the thing. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like, not even just a quick little line to say, like, why'd you leave Oz? We could have won the game, or something. Or, hey, we didn't even need you anyway. We already won the game.
So the internet stream is kind of risque. I think that's the most risque thing, aside from having sex with pastries, but that's harmless fun, I guess.
He did look like he was having a good time.
Well, we'll get to that section. But I think it works as a storytelling to where it's not as risque because Jim gets the comeuppance.
Right. Well, definitely the comeuppance. Twice.
I think because, like, he's the one that has the yolk in his face, not her.
Yeah, because he has this plan of with the guys like, oh, we're gonna film her while you come over here, you can watch it and everything like that, and so like
the classic blunder.
It's not even it's not even just that. It's the fact that it's kind of like Jim's Flight of Icarus.
Yes,
it's like he had this moment, and I'm not condoning what happened. I'm just looking at it from 1999 eyes. He had this moment of, oh my God, I've got a beautiful woman naked in my room, on my bed,
with the ugly wallpaper,
doing what she do, reading Shaved magazine,
which his dad's not familiar with.
And they got greedy, and he flew too close to the sun, and his wings melted. In this case, it was a different liquid, but you get the idea.
It was
he wanted too much. He went too far, and it completely backfired on him. Just like Icarus, he went too close to the sun, fell to his death.
Icarus.
In this case, he asked too much of a situation.
So he's the one that looks like the loser, and everyone's making fun of him after school. I mean, she does get deported.
Well, we don't know that until the second movie. So spoiler alert if you haven't watched an almost 20-year-old movie.
Possibly
20-year-old.
Yeah, so he's the one that's the joke. But it opens up Michelle, which gives you the iconic band camp talk. And that one time at band camp.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Can I just say one thing? My only real gripe with this movie is after this movie, not one single solitary human being could tell a story with the phrase "this one time" or "one time" without always having to throw in "at band camp." It's like you can't. It's like how you can't say "it's been a while" without someone doing that. I hate American Pie. I hate you for that. You're okay, but I hate that. I hate you for that. You've ruined American, you ruined American English.
At band camp. And it opens up to Jim's happiness in the end. The embarrassment leads to and also that great scene at the prom where he's like, I'm gonna go hang out with that band geek, that line popped me. I thought it was hilarious how he delivered it.
And it pays off in American Pie too.
Yeah, and Wedding, it all pays off. Yeah. He's just like, I'm gonna hang out that band geek because he's like, I don't care about the sex. Like Characters grew, except for Kevin. Characters grew, and yeah. So that's the part I was like, I want to talk about.
And I think it was also, again, because Kevin was in that mentality when he got a girlfriend. I think these guys who didn't have girlfriends, they grew to appreciate the idea of just like being with someone. And as Jim put it, he's like, I feel so much pressure about having sex now that I hate sex.
Yeah.
And I think that's
great.
And it kind of goes with what a lot of people say when when it comes to relationships, when you stop looking and and you just let nature take its course, you don't put that pressure on you, something will come your way. And in his case, it did with Michelle.
3 things that I want to talk about is, I think the best parts of the movie, and then the entire trilogy, is the relationship between Jim and Jim's dad.
Yes.
Those are the best scenes. Jim's dad is the heart, especially with like American Wedding, where they have nothing. They have no story working at all. Jim's got to learn how to dance at the wedding. That's the big dilemma.
Well, because they bank the whole thing on, you just want to see Jim and Michelle get married. That's why you're here. You just want to see them get married. You don't care what happens.
Yeah, and Eugene Levy is like, he has like a heart to it, where he gives her advice on how to do her vows and stuff like that. Like, those are like, Jim's dad is probably the best character, and I understand why they put him in the spin-offs, but the problem is the spin-offs are terribly written, and there's no relatable characters.
There's no real reason for him to be there, because I don't, to the best of my knowledge,
Bandcamp has one reason. It's because Michelle and Jim are like on a honeymoon or on a trip, and she was the advisor at Bandcamp.
Oh, so he's taking her place.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
Other than that one, it just seems like he's just kind of there just to be there.
Yeah, so he's not in Girls' Rules. We have to talk about the pie scene.
Have to.
We watched it on Peacock.
Yes.
Which only has him standing up having sex with a pie.
Which, honestly, I'm going to be real, because I've seen both over the years.
And the other one is he's on top of the counter doing missionary with the pie.
I'm not going to lie.
Normal style.
I'm going to be real. I think the one in the Peacock version is better.
Yes.
I think, it's like, okay,
it's realistic what he would do.
Well, not just realistic. On paper, him on top of it is funnier, because you're just thinking what could be. In actual execution, the other one is funnier because it's just so quick.
It leads to the funniest scene to me.
You mean the ravaged pie on the table?
And Jim like...
and Eugene Levy with the best line in the whole movie. We'll just tell your mother that we ate it all. And I tell you, to this day, if there's ever a situation where I have to give like a possible excuse for something, not anything huge, but just like what do we do? I'll just be like, well, we'll just have to tell your mother that
you've done it.
We ate it all.
You've done that. But I think the last thing I want to talk about, and this is probably the worst part of the whole movie, and you mentioned it to me the other day, Sherman.
Yeah.
He got done wrong.
Yeah.
She did not have to embarrass him like that to where it revealed he pees himself.
Well,
didn't have to do that.
Well, the reason...
Lady.
Well, here's the thing. Here's my whole take on that. If part of the movie was the rumor kept persisting, like every time they were at school, you'd hear someone in the background talk about like, oh, Sherman hooked up with so-and-so.
She didn't know about it
or stuff like that. Yeah. Like he didn't, because I don't think he even outright tells the guys that's what they did. It's just they suggest that they think he did, and he just doesn't. As the phrase goes, why let the truth get in the way of a good story?
Yeah, the Sherman.
But it seemed like not anything that really. It didn't seem like anything that went around until the plot dictated it needs to. But it was like also like, why did that even need to be there?
It was also unnecessary because. It was unnecessary because they ended up not giving a shit about sex anyway, and Kevin, that's what gets Kevin all like, woohoo! Like, when he's all like sitting outside the prom all mad. Like, the Sherman not having sex that's like the big thing that changes his mind, and it's just like, what's wrong?
Yeah, and it was like, but it was just like, and then the whole thing like, oh, and when he gets embarrassed, he pisses himself. Like, it was one of those things where it wasn't funny, it wasn't necessary. It just made that girl's character, not that she was really a character, but it made her look bad. It made him look really, like, just, you felt bad for him.
Yeah, but it's okay, because in American Pie 2, he gets with Nadia.
Yeah, but again...
And he becomes the counselor of the high school in band camp.
But here's the problem. In 1999 or 2000, whichever year this actually came out, I know it was at least shot in 99, We didn't know that. So if all you have, what's the phrase people like to say? In a vacuum.
Yeah.
If you look at this movie in a vacuum, like they introduce this character at the beginning of the movie just to be
Who's
like
cringe already,
just to be their measuring stick for getting laid. Because damn, if Sherman could do it.
I don't remember they did it.
But then later on, and like he's like hardly anywhere to be found in this movie until the end where they do it like this. And
he does watch the stream. He's the one who delivers the stream.
He watches the stream, but a lot of people did.
He delivered the news with all his really well timed. That the news is revealed that he sent it to everyone right when Jim goes in.
But here's the thing. If I was making this movie, right? If I was making American Pie, here's how I would do the scene. This is a better way to do it because it doesn't need to be funny or need to try to be funny. Here's what we do. Here's what you do. You have a conversation where, you know, okay, so I forget who talks to her, but I can't remember who talks to the girl about it. Yeah, she talks to the girl about it and says, we didn't have sex. All right? All you have to do is have she finds out about it. She goes to talk to Sherman. Sherman goes, hey, or she's like, hey, you know, there's this rumor going around that we had sex. Why did I never had sex, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I never said we did. Just some people thought we did, you know, and it got blown out of proportion. That's it. That's all you need. And then you have Oz overhear them having the conversation.
But P is funny.
It's not though. P is funny. P is funny when it's projectile and done right.
But is it funny when Stifler gets peed on in American Pie too?
Yes.
Which, by the way, Stifler drinks the pale ale, and 2 he gets peed on, and also kisses a guy.
Oh my god.
And 3 he eats dog poop. But
put in the comments what happened to him at American Reunion since Wade didn't watch it.
I watched it. I don't remember it. So this movie is important. It started a trend.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
It did launch some careers.
And also, retrospectively, they did Van Wilder Happens. Did not connect with Van Wilder Happens. Ryan Reynolds gets big off that.
Oh, and Tara Reid was in that.
John Cho, who was from this movie.
Yeah.
Also, this movie invented MILF, I believe?
Yes, this movie coined the phrase.
So this movie did a lot. Bandcamp, which is insufferable.
By the way, I always forget he's in the Glee Club with Oz. And
I thought that was a nice little touch.
Why does no one rip on him?
Also, I kept on thinking the guy that tried to replace Oz every time in the choir. I thought he was the guy who did Elvis, but Elvis is like 20 years younger than this guy, so it's definitely not him.
Yeah.
But like Austin Butler, I think his name is. Yeah. So this movie does hold up, I think.
Not as well as they probably hoped back then, but it definitely holds up a lot better than expected. It's not as sleazy as I remember
Especially
it being.
Compared to something like Porky's, which is just... I watched Porky's a couple years ago for the first time in 15 years, and I thought, this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I have still to this day never watched Porky's.
It's
but yeah, it helped essentially launch a young cast. It helped like revitalize 2 veterans in Eugene Levy and Jennifer Coolidge.
Also in American Wedding, Fred Willard is Michelle's dad.
True.
Yeah.
And so for all the harm the contents of the movie itself did, as far as like what it did for the cast and stuff like that. You gotta say, in hindsight, it's a good thing American Pie came out.
And it's also what makes this movie work over other movies is that around that time is it has a heart.
Yes.
Like I like Road Trip. We both like Road Trip, but it doesn't really have a heart.
No, it doesn't.
It's very just like
I blame Tom Green for that.
Yes.
I think where they would have stuck the heart moments, that's where they put Tom Green's stuff in there, because Tom Green was popular.
Yes.
And we'll do a whole nother video about that down the road. No pun intended, because we do like Road Trip. It's a movie we quote often.
And we like Tom Green, too.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. It just didn't work. But like this movie has a heart. These characters learn and grow. I will say this is the best of all the movies, because American Pie 2 is stretching, and American Wedding is stretching even further to where they have nothing.
I'll say this. At least American Wedding didn't try to be more of what was in the first movie. They realized they were older, so they try, even though there wasn't a lot to go on, they at least tried to age the movie appropriately.
Yes.
Unlike American Pie 2.
Yeah, so that's our thoughts on American Pie. Let us know in the comments section below what you think. What's your favorite American Pie film? Is there any other movies we should cover in retrospect? It doesn't have to be raunchy, late 90s.
Yeah, it can be anything.
It can be any movie.
And remember, this isn't Criterion Connection, so you can
We
suggest
did-
anything.
I mean, we did The Munsters, which was...
I think The Munsters was more offensive than American Pie.
Oh my
I'm gonna
God.
go. And also, don't forget to put in the comments how much you appreciate American Pie's existence if you're a fan of Russian Doll or Poker Face.
Yes.
Because without it, you don't have it.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yeah, so till next time, I'm Wade.
And I'm Scott. And we will see you next time.